Lisa. I am here today with some more product to go with the chipboard that I was using last week. This is from Basic Gray Spice Market, and it was leftover printed chipboard for that collection. I didn't have a lot of the collection to begin with, and I don't have anything left but this. So I did a video where I showed how I picked a lot of product that would work with this and sort of got it to work in with other things that I had in my stash. That video was a little long last week because it was originally supposed to be part of a class, and I decided to do a different class I had started already, and I may still do that at some point, but it was going to be a class about using a lot of the things in your scrapbooking stash, so we may do that at some point. But for now, I still have that chipboard, and I still have some product pulled out, so I thought I might as well go ahead and do another page with it. If you'd like to see how I selected this product, be sure and check out last week's video. The first few minutes spend quite a bit of time in matching up product to this chipboard and a series of photos, and this was one of those photos of my husband and I together. Now, the photo doesn't really have a specific story to tell. It's more of a point in time kind of thing. I call these sort of tribute pages, where you have a photo and you want to just capture that moment and just, you know, have a really pretty photo and a pretty page, and it's not really trying to tell a story. So I use those kind of pages at the beginning of my album and at the end of the album. So this will go in my 2016 album either at the beginning or the end. And it's a really good photo that the server took in a restaurant on the first day of our vacation back in the spring. So I have a bunch of product here that I had already pulled, all older stuff, and all to go with this chipboard. So I'm going to put us on fast forward here and just start pulling some things out to use with this picture of the two of us, and hopefully end up with a really pretty page.
This blue-green paper with the navy border is part of a boy collection from Basic Gray from a long time ago, and I have never used it because I don't know, it just never seemed to work out, and I really think the problem now is that postage stamp border. So I'm just going to trim that off and see what happens if I do that. I will need some other background paper, and we'll get to that in a moment. I'm picking the chipboard that I feel sure I'll use on this particular page. I'm getting down to where there's not going to be hardly any chipboard left, and I'll probably just put the scraps in with some of my other scrap product rather than keep it on its sheet. And I'm pulling out a couple of stickers. Now, a spoiler alert, I don't end up using the stickers. I forgot them. I pulled them out several times and looked at them, and when I got down to doing the final part of the page, I just forgot all about those things. Sometimes I don't remember stuff until I see on the video what I was planning to do. Choosing a background, the burgundy one looks really good. It got down between the burgundy and the cream color, and I liked the cream color better because it was a lighter look, but that burgundy looked so good with my husband's shirt in the background of the photo, so I kept it out. We're just going to work our way down to that. I do want to use this paper with it's a blue-green paper with little hearts on it, part of a Valentine's collection. I mean, this stuff came from, a lot of it's Basic Gray, but it came from all over the place. And the red kind of goes with that too. So I create a border. It just becomes a really wide border strip. And I felt like when I had the burgundy in the border that I needed the ivory paper for the background. Those stickers aren't going to work. They're not the right shade. And there's really not anything in the 6x6 pad that ends up working with this page. The papers are a little bit too light for the color scheme that I'm winding up with. What's bothering me though is that my photo is awfully small. It looks kind of lost. So I cut a frame from the silhouette, or these little borders that sort of make a frame from the silhouette, and then I decided to go ahead and frame the photo, or mat the photo to go with that. That's a really old craft paper. I think it was My Mind's Eye, but I'm not sure. Real thick paper, and it was a good match to the background of that photo. So it sort of frames the photo without being exactly the same thing. And when I was looking for that paper, I found another burgundy background that I liked even better than the first one, and that's when I decided just to go ahead and use the burgundy. The challenge I'm having at the moment is I can't figure out what to do with the picture, whether it should go in the middle or it should go on the end. And if I take out that one burgundy strip to my band, what do I put in its place? And I remembered those pieces of blue that I had cut off of that one paper, so I'm using them so that the postage stamp edge is turned to the back, and they're going to be just little navy border strips to connect all this color together. What I'm doing is gluing all my sections together so then I can play with whether they go in the center or over to the left. Since it's going to be a title page, I'm just going to use 2016 and that Our Story chipboard piece as the title. I don't have any navy letters, but I had some black ones that worked well for the number. I always have numbers left. These hearts are from J'adore, which is where some of this paper is from. And I'm going to put a blue-green heart and a pink heart. They had a foam on the back, so I'm taking the foam off and putting glue dots on them. And then I'll use the You and Me chipboard there under our name. Now in the first layout that I did with this collection, or this grouping of odds and ends, I used some washi tape. So I went back to the washi to pull a little bit more of that out there. So I have something besides ribbon as a layering piece. And I got some of the same washi and some different pieces. And this was not peeling off well, so I took my awl, that little tool I used for making holes and cleaning up die cuts and just about everything, is called a dressmaker's awl. And I've had mine a long time, but I saw them at a Cherry on Top one time. And because they sell a lot of other things besides paper crafting supplies, it is the handiest little tool. And there it's helping me sort of separate the fibers on that ribbon to give it kind of a rough texture. And I'm going to do this one side on camera, and then the other side I just sort of do it off camera, putting the different layers down. You'll see the almost finished product. I'm still trying to figure out what layers are going to go where. I went through the chipboard to see if there was any more pieces that I wanted to use. I pull one out there, a blue flower, but I don't end up using that. And you'll see what I use instead in just a moment. These ribbons are thick enough to glue with Tombow and not have the glue show through. Alright, I got some of the left side together. I've got a piece of chipboard that I don't think I actually pulled for this. It just sort of fell out of the pack, and it works out really well. It's got some navy in it. What I think I'd like to use with it, though, is a couple of brads. And these are vintage brads from Stampin' Up. I don't know if they're still available. They had them a long time. And I think I ordered 3 or 4 packs of these over the years. But they're my favorite brads of all times. And they just add a lot of pretty texture to a page. So now we've got a finished page, and I want to compare it to the first one that I made using some of these same products. A really different look because I've got a much lighter look. The same chipboard, some of the same washi tape, but with a lighter background and other elements that are very different, you get a whole different look for the page. So thanks so much for joining me, and if you like the video, I'd love to get a thumbs up. Thank you.